Hey everybody, Scott Detweiler here. Hey, check it out. I got my camera from the studio and actually brought it in to do a live stream for once. So today we're going to look at a problem I just kind of recently discovered, and I don't know how I didn't ever notice this, but when I work on my C drive, which is my really fast chip, little hard drive built into my machine, and M.2 drive for all of you who are into that geeky kind of stuff, that when I make those decisions on culling through my images and then I upload them to my NAS, which is done every 2 hours, so that it goes to all the backups and everything, what can happen is that if I make decisions on files later on, let's say I cull in a session, and then I go back and I say, wow, I would really like to move these couple more into the selected folder as well, because I really like those. What's going to happen is that there's going to be duplicates now because this thing has been backed up numerous times. It backs up every 2 hours to my network attached storage and everything. So I kind of figured out, wow, I have a lot of duplicates that will be in the capture folder and in the select folder on my network attached storage devices. So that also means that any backups that are made from that also have duplicates. So I was running into this pickle and I thought I wanted to solve it, and I came up with a really elegant solution, and I wanted to share it with you. And I want to talk about the problem a little bit so maybe you understand if you're facing it or not. This will also happen if you're using catalogs, for example, with attached or referenced attachments. But if you're using it like the whole train wreck of a catalog where you just load stuff into the catalog and it magically rearranges it, then you don't have any worries about that, because that's all handled for you, because you can't even look at where they are on your hard drive. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, all right, I want to show you, this is the new textures out today. So I just put it in everyone's Dropbox for helping support the channel. I paint these by hand, so you can see there's a lot of detail that goes into these, and these are huge, and everyone gets one. So if you join the channel, by the way, the big shiny join button underneath the video, you get all of these that I have done so far, and I've done quite a few. I do at least one a month. So there's that for you. And again, thank you so much. Mike Klukowski is new this month, and as is Glamoury Hosiery, who's a Photoshop, what I call the channel professional. So you actually get the Photoshop files from the live streams if I'm working on something like that, which usually happens. Oh, by the way, minor note, I'm going to be speaking at Shutterfest next week and at Texas School the week after that. So I will not be live for the next 2 Tuesdays. However, I'm going to try and get a live stream in there. Like, I had to walk through some of the expos. If you guys would like to see some of the products that people are showing off, I think that's kind of fun. It's one of the great things about going to these larger conventions, is to be able to see those things. And the Shutterfest one should be amazing. If you're going to Shutterfest, make sure you hunt me down and find me there. I'm speaking. I have 3 different speeches there, and then Texas School of Photography is a week long where you get me for 5 days, and that's a pretty intensive thing. So you're gonna deal with my level of insanity for a week. All right, so what we're gonna do here, so let's talk about this first. So this is my C drive, and you see my C drive is very small, and what this is, these are active sessions that have current pieces of art or active clients on them, or I'm pulling them up because it's photo competition season and I found something shiny in there that I would like to play with. So that's why these are all in here. Now, I'll go through, and I really can't show any of these, but you get the idea, where if I go into, say, Brady here, here are all the files that I captured for him. And then if I go into his selects, these are the ones that the client has selected. So I don't know why that one's showing up. Well, that was not packed. It should be. But anyway, so there should not be duplicates of what's in the capture and what's in select. So capture one moves the file from capture to select. So it doesn't copy it. And a lot of people assume it copies it. It is not copied. It moves it. So there shouldn't be duplicates anywhere. But over here on my network attached storage, where there's a lot more stuff, this is the unarchived version. Now the archived version is even bigger. But these are still, I'll say, within the last 2 or 3 years, the things I still might reference from time to time. I have clients that come back and buy something, or I have other little things I'm considering doing with them, and they're just kind of hanging around. But this session is represented over here. So I don't know where it is exactly, but it's in here somewhere. But so this session will be over here, and what happens is every 2 hours, GoodSync, which is the product I use for this, there's a lot of synchronization apps out there, but I really like that one because it's so easy to tune. It doesn't carry across any of the thumbnails. It doesn't carry across any of the cache files. It doesn't carry across the trash folder. things like that that just kind of fill up your network attached storage for no specific reason. So that's how this works. But what I find is that if let's say I get done with a shoot, like I just had this 401 here and I had this one here, and I say I load them on my machine and I go to sleep. Well, that thing is going to run 5 different times over the course of the evening and overnight. And the next morning, it's now a complete duplicate up here, and it's going to be the same thing. But let's say the next day I open Capture One and I say, let's cull this bad boy. I'm going to go through, I'm going to star rate my images. I'm going to go ahead and color code them and do all the work that I typically do and move some of those files to selects. When it does its synchronization, it will it'll go ahead and copy those over, but it won't remove the ones from the capture folder. So now I have duplicates. So how do you get rid of this? Well, I was trying to look at different kinds of pieces of software, and I was just running into a wall that I really didn't enjoy. And it was that I only wanted to delete things in the capture folder. I never wanted to deduplicate the select folder. That folder is sacred. So I did is I wrote this DOS script. Now, if you're a channel member, I put these in everyone's in the folders for the patrons and the professionals for the channel. So if you just want this script, otherwise just pause your screen and type it yourself. It's that simple. But let me walk you through what it's doing, and then I'll show you how it works. And it's just freaking elegant, and it has saved me so much time now in deduplicating things, and I don't have to worry about it freaking out or doing something dumb. So I'm just going to walk you through real quick what it is. If you're not a computer person or whatever, don't worry, it's not that terrible. So I just basically just turn off all the goofy screen that's going to happen here and clear the screen. There's a couple other things here, like setting where my folders are. So I have my capture folder and my selects folder. And this %1 means I'm going to hand it something. So to use this, all I do is I pick up a folder and I drag it right on top of the bat file. That's how I use it. And this kind of says, okay, let's figure out what the select folder and the capture folder is. Remove some of the quotes and all this kind of goofy stuff. It creates a log file, which we'll see in a second. And then it creates a counter because I want to count how many files were changed at the end. I want that information at the end. And then basically I just echo, hey, I'm going to start searching on this day. This is the folder I'm looking at, and go ahead and write it to the log folder. It makes a nice little header here, which, just whatever. And then it goes through every single file, that's what this is, in the capture folder and says, does that exist in the select folder? If it does, then delete it from the capture folder. If it does not exist in that one, then it just kind of skips through. So it'll do this for only things that it finds in the select and the capture folder. And when it's done, it will echo, hey, I found this many matches. And then it dumps all that to the log file and it pauses so that I can see it. And then you hit the space bar to stop it. It's so easy to use. So I wanted to kind of show that, and I just realized I used it on a bunch of these yesterday. So I'm like, are any of these still need deduplication? And I was like, what a horrible demo this is going to be. But I'm sure there's some in here. So let's just take, this blue corset body paint. Just drag it up here and drop it on top of that. And you see it pops up. See, I guess I do decap it. So it writes searching, and it tells me what I'm doing. Found 0 matches, pushing a key to continue. All right, let's find another one here. Ballet School Seniors. Let's try that one. No. God, what a wonderful demo here, Detweiler. God, I know I went through so many of these, just kind of testing it and using it and getting it perfect. And I really like it. Let's try this Jennifer April Studio Guests. Drag it up here. I could open another window, I guess. Huh? Here we go. Oh, that one's also blank. Well, come on. Come on, buddy. Holy Hill Dark Phoenix Body Paint. Let's try that one. It was a horrible demo because I didn't think about the fact that I had cleared a bunch of these. Now, I'm not doing these on my C drive because it's not going to be a problem there. It's only going to be a problem out here. So drag it on here. Did I not do it? Gee, Christmas. All right, let me open another window here. Because this will be easier if we just open it this way. All right, let's find another one. Let's do Tanya Fairy Body Paint. Found 8 matches, and then I set my space bar. Okay, now what it's going to do is there's actually a log file that's written here. Let's take a look at that. And it shows you. So these are the unsuccessful ones that we searched, and it just showed that there was nothing here. And then it showed you what ones here were deleted. So these 8 images existed in both the capture and the select folder, and just deleted them. So it's super easy for me to go ahead and deduplicate this. Now, if you're freaking out about, oh my God, it deleted those, it didn't put them in the recycle bin. Wow, that's totally unacceptable. Just remember that this is on my network attached storage, so everything actually gets put into a recycle bin on my server here. That's the way that this works. So I really don't have to worry about that so much. But you know, depending on how you do what you do, you may or may not have to deal with that. So let's do a couple more here just to kind of demo. So I'll close this log file down, and let's find Oklahoma. Oops, I actually like to sort these so I can actually see what I'm doing here. Some of these are really huge, and like this one here was for a tree service that came to my house. So let's see if there's anything in there. Nope, matches in there. Good, because that was a gigantic shoot. Katie Bodyscapes. Well, I guess I was pretty good. You know what I try and do as a general rule of thumb. Ooh, look at that one. 59 matches. So if that's you know, an A7R4 firing at full resolution, that is a huge savings right there. So 59 images pulled off of that senior. Again, they have to exist in both the capture and the select folder. So you see here, I just deleted them. Anyway, so I thought I would share this today. I know it's kind of like a little weirder kind of a live stream, but this was, geez, I've been working at this thing, pecking at this stupid script forever, trying to get it to do exactly what I wanted to do. And now it's actually finally there, and I'm really happy with it. And I thought that if any of you are using a similar type of backup solution where you may not call the session 100% right away, then you're going to run into this situation. So this is one of those things I was like, well, I thought that everyone thought, like, if you're backing up your stuff, which you should be, I try and force myself to call things the exact same day that I shoot them. So when I come home, I load them in my computer and I go ahead and I do my culling. But I'll tell you that isn't always perfect, especially if I know that someday I'm going to delete the capture folder, because realistically, if you have your best work in your select folder already, meaning you called it, the stuff that's in the capture folder, the stuff that's left is the stuff that you didn't quite like as much as the select stuff. Maybe it's very similar. Maybe one is a smile, one's a not quite a smile, or it's a blink, something that maybe you just didn't delete because you're like, well, maybe I like her hair in this shot and maybe I'll borrow that later in Photoshop. You're not really sure. But eventually you should be deleting that capture folder because it's probably 70% of the shoot, and the client's never seen them because it's not your best work, and so on. See, Scott asked, I've had to figure out how to get backup setups on my Synology. Need to restart my iDrive account and get the hard drive sent to back up the automation. Yeah, that GoodSync product is really the key to all the stuff that I do. And GoodSync works on a Synology drive as well. So that's the thing that backs up to my iDrive account. It does all the fiddling around. And you guys have probably seen it running in the background on my different live streams because it runs every 2 hours, and sometimes it happens to intersect with the live stream. But that GoodSync product to me is just a godsend. And I'm sure there's other ones out there that do the same thing. But to me, this was huge because it stops a lot of the I don't know, me forgetting, me being too lazy to do it. This thing just does it. But again, this whole duplication thing surprised me. And now I'm wondering, I have a hard drive that just captures my kind of snapshot of what's going on in my machine all the time. Every 2 hours, again, GoodSync copies it over. And now I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how many of those directories also suck. But that may be a mirror of what I'm working on and not a backup. So a mirror would obviously, if I delete it here, it deletes it there. But I don't really want to do that to all of my backups because let's say hypothetically we get a virus or we get some sort of ransomware and it encrypts all your stuff. GoodSync, first of all, is set to only copy the sessions if less than 30% of the total volume of images had changed. So if someone attacks my system and encrypts the whole thing, GoodSync will not back it up. It'll go, hey, this is not right. But let's say that it's a mirror and it encrypts here. It's going to encrypt there automatically, and I don't really want that situation. So every 2 hours, it just does its backup. But the problem is that now I have these duplicates because it was moved here, and then it just copied the next one up and left the other one in the capture folder. Again, eventually I need to purge the capture folder, and that's what happens when I archive my jobs is I go through that one more time and just say, is there any other images that maybe someday I might happen to like? But by then, the client's 2 years old, and I'm not really going to say, well, I don't expect them to call me and go, wow, we really wanted that picture of Jimmy that we never saw because you never showed it to us before. So why are you keeping it, right? I don't show my client all the images I shot. I only show them the best work because you want to impress upon them. This is the reason why you hired me and not some random person, because I deliver a better product. Well, here you go. Here's your proof. Well, the rest of that capture folder, what are you going to do with that? You can use it again for retouching, but other than that, you should just get rid of it. Now, if you're a catalog person, then none of this applies to you, right? You have to go ahead and delete your own stuff and back up your gigantic catalog device of whatever you got there. Now, if you happen to be using the reference parts of the catalog in Capture One, which is just, it's almost like a session, but you're using a big catalog so you can look through all of them at once. Which, I mean, I guess I understand that, but because Capture One sessions kind of work like Bridge anyway, it's you can look at any other directory. I just don't see why anyone would use catalog. This is one of those things that blows my mind. Now, if you're hitting up Shutterfest or Texas School, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be shooting tethered for both of those events, so you'll be able to chance to see that. They're not Capture One centric events, so well, I take that back. I am teaching a Capture One class at Shutterfest that would be specifically catered to this product, but the majority of time when I shoot tethered is just because this product is so darn reliable when it's tethered versus Lightroom, which is iffy. Even the like I shoot Sony product, even the Sony Imaging Edge product sometimes doesn't find the camera when Capture One is like, well, I got this, it's all good, but yet the Sony product doesn't even find its own camera. So whatever they're doing is working very well. But I don't know if you guys have any questions on this or comments. As I said, I put the script in everyone's folder. So if you're a patron or a channel professional and you're helping keep the channel alive, I really appreciate you. That script is in there for you. Feel free to use it just like I used it there. Just put it right in the directory with all your sessions and then just drag and drop the session on top of it. And that's it. Again, if you want to test it first because you don't trust it, feel free. But it doesn't do anything aggressive. Like it doesn't go through and wildly delete things. It only deletes duplicates it finds in both session and selects. Capture or selects. I may alter this at some point and add some more bells and whistles. I think I might, I'm playing with the idea of making it recursive so I can drop my entire sessions folder on it and it'll go through every session and do that. But right now it's set to one of, it just does each individual directory, which to me was enough. I don't want to be overly aggressive with something that's automated because I'm deleting stuff. Even though my Synology puts it in a recycle, so I have 30 days to change my mind on it. Am I going to notice within 30 days if I deleted something I shouldn't have? Probably not. So in reality, I just don't, I don't want to deal with that problem. This was easy, in my opinion. Anyway, that's kind of what I had for today. I'm working on a bunch of other retouching projects. I just judged for the Tampa Bay area PPA yesterday. I have Colorado tomorrow. So I'll be judging those print competitions as well. If you are a channel supporter here, feel free to reach out to me. I need your email addresses if you want to get the Dropbox folders for these things, by the way, because there's no way to do that through YouTube. Make sure you get me that. And as a person who supports this channel, as a patron or a professional or a sponsor, you get a critique. So if you would like critiques on your images, I would obviously like to record those and share those with everyone because I think they benefit everyone, even if it's not your image. Feel free to send me those images. Put a couple in a Dropbox, and then we could talk about them. I'd probably do that live with you as part of the live stream and say, hey, let's talk about your image today. But you got to have thick skin because no one gets better through praise, right? I can, oh, it's a great photo. You're such a great photographer is not going to make you better. You need to know what you could have done differently, what you could have done better. And I'm just one opinion, by the way. I mean, I'm not God's gift of photography. So if you're like, I don't quite agree with him, just realize that I do very well at product photography. I mean, I do very well at image competitions, very well. So I have, I think, a good, handle on what judges like to see and what judges don't like to see. And I can help guide you in those areas. But, I obviously can't take the pictures for you, but I can tell you that most of the time client work doesn't do well in competition. We call that a green merit, where you got money for it instead of actually getting a merit, which is a point in the PPA system. But if you have images like that and you want to share them with me, then we can critique them online. And that's really healthy, I think, for everybody. It's good for people to watch, and then you can enter that in a competition. And hopefully I won't be judging it because I have to recuse myself if I see it. But I think that's pretty cool. So if you guys have any questions or comments, witticisms, criticisms, heresies, or fallacies, just throw them in the comments below and let me know what you think of this scripting thing. Try it out. And let me know if there's ways that I can prove it, because again, I'm not God's gift at DOS scripting. It's been a long time. I have done some pretty big scripts in my life, but geez, that was like 20 or 30 years ago, maybe even 40 years ago. God, that was a long time ago. Some of this is old, but there's ways this could easily be improved, and I'd be open to hearing some of those thoughts. So if you have them, let me know below. Otherwise, everybody, thanks for stopping in today. See, we got the camera up now, so hopefully we'll do more of this kind of thing, and you can see how gray this gets over time. And if I have this shaved and it's all shiny and reflective, and if you like that. All right, everybody, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you all next time.